Add some scripted plots and this is how to make your currency system. To make a currency system, first of all, we need a script. Now in here, we have to first of all get a player added event. I have actually already made a video about how to detect when a player joins, so that should be on screen recommended right now. Then what we need to do is in the player add a folder, so local folder equals to instance.new folder, and what we want to do with this folder is name it leaderstats. So folder.name equals to leaderstats. Spelled exactly like this. If you spell it in a different way, what we're about to do won't work, because if it's spelled leaderstats, then all the values will be displayed at the top right of your GUI and will show who has the most of which currency and show everyone has the currency. If you don't want this to be like this, and that no one, except if you have a separate GUI for this to show how much money you have, then just don't spell it exactly like this. Now what we want to do is just say folder.parent equals to PLR. Now what we want to do is we want to get our money value. So local money equals to instance.new int value. Now an int value is just a value for how much money. If you want there to as well be cents, then you just make it a number value. Now we do money.value equals to 50 or whatever you want the starting cash to be. Now we can, for instance, do money.name equals to, and I'm gonna call my currency cash. You could call it money, coins, whatever you wish. And finally we have to parent the folder into our leaderstats folder. Now we want to get over to saving. So we want at the top say local ds for data store equals to game:get service. DSS should recommend data store service, and then here we can do :get data store, and we can call it, for instance, money data store. So this will be just our data store that we will be using. And what we want to now do is we want to pretty much load in our data. So we want to first of all create a key, so local key equals to, and we can call this, let's say, cash dash, and this is important that we at the end after the quotation mark say .plr.user ID. I have actually a separate video on how saving data works, so you can look at that if you want a more detailed explanation why we do it like this. And now we do local saved data, and now we have this variable for now be nil. And what we need to do is we have to do pcall function, and in here we have to do save data equals to ds::get async, and then we insert a key, so the key will always be depending on which player it is. So now the save data value would, for instance, be 100 if a player had 100 coins when he left. Actually, we still have to do something for that, but what we still need to do is if we want to write if saved data squiggly sign equals to nil, so not equals to nil, then money dot value equals to save data. So we want to make sure that we first check if it's not nil, because else if it's nil, then the player would have no starting cash, or better said, we would receive an error. Now finally to save, we only have to do here game.players.player removing connect function. So this is if a player goes out and we leaves, and we still have a variable for the player. And here we have to write local key equals to the same as over here, cash dash .plr.user ID. And finally we have to just do ds::set async. As we can see here, we're getting the async, and now we're setting async key plr.leaderstats.cash.value, or rather say whatever you called your currency. If you called it anything else, then cash, and if you didn't call it exactly leaderstats like this, then make sure to spell it exactly the same as you did up here. Now all we need to make sure of is that our game is published. So go to game settings, save to Roblox. Then we have to go up to game settings, security, enable studio access to API services. And now just to test if all of this actually works, we can quickly insert a part. And we can customize this however we want. And then in here I'm gonna insert a script. In here I'm gonna get a touched event. So I as well have a tutorial how touched events work on screen right now. And in here we want to just do if game.players get player from character hit.parent. Then so aka if there is a player adjacent to whatever touched the part, then we just add local PLR equals to game.players get player from character hit.parent, aka the same one as would have touched it. And then we just can write plr.leaderstats.cache.value plus equals to 50. So always when they'll be touching it, they get 50 cash. And of course, don't forget to, if you have a different name than cash for your currency, just replace that. And if you didn't call it exactly leader stats like this, also replace that. Now as we can see, if we play, as we can see when we play, we have this cash value. And now if we touch this part, the cash value will increase tremendously because we don't have inserted any debounce. So now we have thousands of money. Now as we can see, if we close the game and open it again, we still have the same amount of money. Perfect. So that was how you made a currency system in Roblox Studio. I'm Striptoblox, and I'll hopefully see you in the next video. Bye.